Hey there, pirates. Welcome aboard the Anime no Mi channel, the Hito. Hito no Mi is very powerful, but even so, it's not the most important fruit in the history of One Piece. The most important fruit has already been revealed, and it becomes even stronger because of who possesses it. And you're going to discover this in today's video. Teach has the most powerful fruit of all time. Marshall D. Teach, Blackbeard, is one of the most enigmatic villains in One Piece, with a bounty of 3.996 billion in chapter 957, and an ambition that makes even Yonkos like Kaido seem restrained. He first appears in chapter 234 in Jaya, already showing strategic intelligence by recognizing Luffy's potential. But it's in chapter 441 that he reveals his ultimate weapon, the Yami Yami no Mi, the dark fruit that he steals from Thatch of the Whitebeard pirates. This devil fruit is unique, a logia that doesn't make the user intangible, but absorbs everything from attacks to other fruits, like Teach does when he steals Whitebeard's Gura Gura no Mi in chapter 577 during Marineford. In chapter 1081, he massacres Law and the Heart Pirates, showing that his strength goes beyond fruits, with Haki rivaling the best. The theory suggests that the Yami Yami no Mi is the strongest devil fruit of all, even surpassing Luffy's Hito Hito no Mi model, Nika, which transforms the user into the sun god and shapes reality with laughter in chapter 1044. Why? Because the Yami Yami not only nullifies other fruit powers, as seen in chapter 441 against Ace, but it may hold secrets not yet revealed, connected to Teach's Buccaneer past, a nearly extinct race mentioned in chapter 1095 that links Kuma and the Great Kingdom. As a Buccaneer, Teach may have a unique physiology that amplifies the Yami Yami, possibly allowing him to absorb multiple fruits without dying, an achievement that defies the laws of One Piece established in chapter 441, where Ace says that eating 2 fruits destroys the body. The Yami Yami no Mi is described by Teach in chapter 441 as the most evil of devil fruits, capable of swallowing everything light, matter, attacks, and even the powers of other fruits. Unlike Luffy's Nika, which turns the world into a rubber circus of chaotic freedom in chapter 1045, the Yami Yami is the opposite, an abyss that consumes everything, nullifying even mythical fruits like Ace's Mera Mera or Whitebeard's Gura Gura. In chapter 577, Teach uses the Yami Yami to steal the Gura Gura, a power that makes islands quake, showing that his fruit not only neutralizes, but extracts the essence of other users, something no other devil fruit can do. But what makes the Yami Yami supreme? First, its ability to nullify fruits, like when Teach grabs Ace in chapter 441. Deactivating his fire logia is a trump card against any opponent, even Luffy's Nika, which relies on the fruit for its elastic powers in chapter 1044. Second, the theory suggests that the Yami Yami, as a fruit linked to the Void Century, could be the dark counterpart of Nika. In chapter 1115, Vegapunk reveals that the Great Kingdom fought against 20 kingdoms, and Nika was the wish for freedom manifested. The Yami Yami could be the wish for control, created to balance or destroy Nika, possibly used by Imu or their ancestors in chapter 1085 to erase the Great Kingdom. As a Buccaneer, Teach would have an ancestral connection to this fruit, amplifying it with his robust physiology, mentioned in chapter 1095 as a trait of Buccaneers, who endure extraordinary damage. Imagine Teach with his Buccaneer body that never sleeps, as Marco notes in chapter 577, using the Yami Yami to swallow not only fruits, but Haki, memories, or even the essence of Joy Boy, which Luffy carries in chapter 1043. In chapter 1081, he almost kills Law. If he faces Luffy, he could nullify Gear 5, sucking Nika's laughter into a black hole, creating a confrontation where freedom faces absolute control. It would be epic to see Teach. Darkness gushing, laughing, Luffy, your sun doesn't shine in my abyss, the world is mine! The revelation in chapter 1095 that Kuma is a Buccaneer, a nearly extinct race with superhuman strength and ties to the Great Kingdom, sheds light on Teach's past. As Marshall D. Teach, he carries the initial of the enemies of God in chapter 1085, suggesting that Buccaneers, like the D, were allies of the Great Kingdom. His unique physiology, able to handle multiple fruits like Yami Yami and Gura Gura may be explained by this heritage. In chapter 441, Teach says the Yami 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 chose him, perhaps because of his Buccaneer lineage, which resonates with the dark power created to rival Nika in the Void Century. The Buccaneers, described in Chapter 1095 as enslaved by the Celestial Dragons, had abnormal physical strength and endurance, like Kuma tanking Saturn's blows. Teach, who survives Whitebeard's devastating attacks in Chapter 576, could use this endurance to channel the Yami Yami beyond normal limits, perhaps awakening it to absorb not just fruits, but the world's energy itself, like the Mother Flame in Chapter 1069. As a Buccaneer, he could be an anti-Joy Boy, destined to counter Luffy's son with darkness, an echo of the Void Century War in Chapter 1115, where the Great Kingdom fell to Imu's shadows. The world government fears the Yami Yami no Mi because it's the key to undoing their control. In Chapter 1044, the Gorosei fear Luffy's Nika for its ability to inspire revolts. The Yami Yami, in the hands of a Buccaneer like Teach, is even more dangerous, as it nullifies any fruit, including those of the Gorosei or Imu, who can use demonic powers in Chapter 1085. Teach, with his ambition to dominate the world in Chapter 577, could use the Yami Yami to absorb Imu's power or ancient weapons like Pluton in Chapter 1060, destroying Mariajois and the Empty Throne. In Chapter 1081, Teach attacks Law seeking poneglyphs. If he discovers the secret of the Void Century, like Luffy can in Laugh Tale in Chapter 967, his Yami Yami could absorb the One Piece, which may be an artifact or energy linked to the Great Kingdom in Chapter 1115. The government fears this because Teach, as a Buccaneer with a D, is an heir to the Great Kingdom, but instead of freedom, he seeks power, making him a monster that even Imu cannot control. It would be epic to imagine the Gorosei in panic, like in Chapter 1044, saying, "Teach with the Yami Yami is worse than Nika, he can swallow the world." The confrontation between Luffy's Nika and Teach's Yami Yami would be the pinnacle of One Piece. In Chapter 1045, Luffy turns the battlefield into an elastic circus. Laughing like the sun god, Teach, with the Yami Yami, could nullify this, sucking up the rubber and laughter into an abyss, like he does with Ace in Chapter 441. As a Buccaneer, Teach would withstand Luffy's solar punches, using the Gura Gura to crack islands and the Yami Yami to erase Nika's haki, creating a fight where freedom faces control. Luffy, with his eternal laughter, would shout, "Teach, your black hole won't erase my son." Teach, laughing, would retort, "Boy, the darkness swallows everything, even gods." The theory suggests that the Yami Yami, amplified by Teach's Buccaneer lineage, could awaken a power beyond imagination, perhaps absorbing the energy of the One Piece or the essence of Imu, as seen in Chapter 1085. This would make Teach Luffy's greatest obstacle, even surpassing Kaido in Chapter 1049, in a duel that could decide the fate of the world sun versus darkness, freedom versus domination. The impact of a battle between Luffy and Teach, with the Yami Yami no Mi against the Hito no Mi model Nika, would be absolutely catastrophic. We've already seen the destructive power of devil fruits that shape the destinies of One Piece. But what's at stake in this confrontation is far more than just abilities. It's a clash between two opposing philosophies that define the world Oda created. A fight between freedom, personified by Luffy and his Nika, and absolute control, represented by the Yami Yami no Mi in Teach's hands. Luffy has always been a symbol of freedom. His ability to transcend the limitations of his devil fruit, to turn any situation into one with potential for change, and to rescue even his friends from the clutches of oppression, reflects this power. Throughout his journey, Luffy has shown that his true strength isn't just from his Akuma no Mi, but from his ideals, his charisma, and of course, Nika's laughter, a cosmic force that can bring joy even to the darkest hearts. On the other hand, Teach, with the Yami Yami, represents the attempt to erase everything free and spontaneous. His fruit not only nullifies the powers of others, but his very existence, as if it were a primal force, seeking to restore balance through destruction. As we've seen, he absorbs not only attacks, but even the essence of his opponents, and his desire to control the world is immense. Teach, with his mysterious D and Buccaneer lineage, knows that his journey is not one for freedom, but for absolute power. What would be truly impressive in a fight between these two characters isn't just the exchange of blows, but what it represents: the collision of two worlds. Luffy, with his contagious smile and irrepressible spirit, against Teach, who seeks to swallow freedom itself and dominate everything. While Luffy fights for for the D of his ancestors. Seeking the truth of the Great Kingdom, Teach fights to seize history itself and the world's powers to put an end to what he considers disorder. At the center of this battle, the Yami Yami and the Hito Hito will be the instruments that determine the future. What makes it even more intriguing is the possibility that Teach, as a Buccaneer with a unique physiology, could manipulate the Yami Yami beyond its already known limits. The fact that he can sustain 2 Akuma no Mi and survive lethal injuries suggests that he has an exceptionally resilient and adaptable body, perhaps a legacy of the Buccaneers, who might have been the true enemies of the world government during the Void Century. The government fears Teach not only for his ambition, but for being a being who can shape reality by his own rules, something that may reflect what the Great Kingdom once represented. Imagine this: Teach with mastery over the Yami Yami, able to absorb even the power of the poneglyphs and uncover the secrets of the Void Century. If he truly succeeds, he could become Luffy's greatest obstacle, who seeks not just to destroy the world government, but to restore the world's lost truth. Teach, possibly knowing more than Luffy about the true nature of the One Piece and the Great Kingdom, would have an invaluable strategic advantage. That was today's content. We hope you liked it and want to share your opinion on the subject. Don't forget to share the video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and stay amazing.